These are the 10 most mind-blowing facts about LeBron James that will shock you. The first fact has to do with the all-round playoff dominance of LeBron James. There are 3 major statistics for any player in any game, and those are of course points, rebounds, and assists. The highest points per game average over an entire playoff series in NBA history was Michael Jordan's 43.7 in the 1986 postseason. The highest rebounding series of all time was Wilt Chamberlain's 30.2 per game in the 1966 playoffs. And the highest assist average in a postseason series was Magic Johnson's 15.2 dimes per game in 1985. But in the 2015 NBA Finals, LeBron did all 3, as he led in all 3 major statistical categories across both teams, averaging 29.7 points, more than Stephen Curry's 22.6, 11.3 rebounds per game, more than Draymond Green's 10.3, and 8.9 assists per game, more than Draymond's 6.3 a game. Not only was LeBron the leader in all 3 major statistical categories, but he also led both sides in blocks and steals, averaging 2.6 pokeaways per game, along with 2.3 rejections per game. So in retrospect, when the Cavaliers went down 3-1, it shouldn't have been such a shock that LeBron was able to lead them back, completing not only the greatest comeback in finals history, but also the greatest all-round performance in NBA playoff history. The second LeBron James fact that is absolutely mind-boggling is his MVP history. LeBron James has been in a select group of the best players ever since he entered the league back in 2004, and the MVP ranking over every season he's been a pro really showcased this. Over the course of his 21-season career, LeBron James has finished top 10 in MVP voting all but 2 seasons, which were the last 2, despite potentially having his best individual season percentage-wise last season. But what makes LeBron ranking in the top 10 for the first 19 seasons of his career even more impressive is when you consider that he was a top 10 MVP as a rookie. Just think about that for a second. Right now, we widely consider Victor Wembanyama as one of the best players in the NBA. But he was nowhere near winning an MVP last season. But for LeBron James, he was amongst the 10 greatest players in basketball straight out of high school, which is a true testament to just how great LeBron James really is. Not only that though, but James also ranked in the top 5 for 10 straight seasons from 2009 through to 2018, which is almost impossible to wrap your head around. Over that 10-year period, James was putting up 27.1 points, 7.6 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 1.6 steals, with shooting splits of 52, 35, 74, truly dominating the NBA over a 10-year stretch. The third fact about LeBron James that's just absolutely insane is just how efficient he was able to be in year 21. Nobody had a better 21st season as a pro as the King, as LeBron just put up a deadly effective 25, 7, and 8, leading the Lakers back to the postseason. In case you didn't already know, this is not normal, as even the game's greatest players had either retired before their 21st season or averaged horrible numbers. Kareem is often brought up in longevity discussions with James, but his numbers simply aren't even on the same stratosphere as LeBron, as Kareem's last season was his 20th season, and in that year he was only averaging 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block on 47% shooting, well down from his career averages of 24.6 points, 11.2 rebounds, and 2.6 blocks on 56% shooting. Then comparing those numbers to LeBron's 20th season, where he put up 28, 8, and 6 on 58% shooting, it's not even close. The number of 59% shooting that LeBron achieved in the 21st season is truly incredible. But when you break it down even further and look at each type of shot, it's truly incredible. Last season, LeBron shot 46% on catch and shoot triples, and when you compare that to MVP Stephen Curry in 2016, he shot 47% on catch and shoot threes. Last season, LeBron made his mid-range jumpers at a 47% clip. Meanwhile, MVP Michael Jordan back in 1998 only made 44% of his mid-range looks. Then at the rim, LeBron James finished 76% of the time, compared to MVP Shaquille O'Neal, who was perhaps the most dominant player in NBA history, who made 77%, only 1 point better than a 40-year-old LeBron James. LeBron is not only aging like fine wine, but he's potentially getting better and better as the seasons go on. The fourth LeBron James fact that will absolutely shock you is just how often he made the finals. In the 2010s, LeBron James was the best player in the game, averaging a casual 26, 8, and 8 on 52% shooting. As we already covered, James was either at the top of the MVP rankings or at least in the top 10 throughout the 2010s. But it was how far he was able to take his teams in that time that was perhaps even more shocking. Shortly following a loss to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference playoffs back in 2010, LeBron made the decision to join forces with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami. And in their first season together, they helped put into motion an unbelievable streak of NBA Finals appearances. From 2011 through to 2018, LeBron James was featured in all 8 NBA Finals, winning 3 of them. His 8 straight trips to the Finals was the longest streak since Bill Russell and his Boston Celtics did it way back in the 1960s, as they famously made 10 straight Finals, winning 11 titles in only 13 seasons. However, considering the fact that there was less teams in the 60s and more competition in today's NBA, I think LeBron's 8 is more impressive than Bill's 10. LeBron also did all this winning across 2 different teams, as in his first year back in Cleveland, he brought the Cavs right back to the finals, not even skipping a beat after his departure from the Miami Heat. Even though LeBron would lose 5 of the 8 NBA Finals, you can't blame him for 2017 and 18, as he was going against the greatest team the NBA's ever seen, and in the 2014 Finals, his teammates just broke down next to him. But of course, the 2011 Finals, and even the 2015 Finals to some extent, will always have an impact on his legacy. The 5th LeBron James fact that will leave you shocked is regarding his underrated defense last season. We already discussed just how effective LeBron James was when it came to shooting the ball in his 21st year, but it goes both ways. His defense isn't something we often mention when we're talking about LeBron James, but maybe it should be. Even though James has never won a Defensive Player of the Year, he came very close back in 2013, where he finished second behind Marc Gasol of the Memphis Grizzlies. However, strangely enough, Gasol didn't even make the first team All-Defense that season, but somehow won the award over LeBron James. That year was LeBron's perceived defensive peak, averaging 1.7 steals along with 0.9 blocks per game, leading his Miami Heat to the 9th best defense in the NBA. The media would lead you to believe that LeBron James no longer has the physical tools required to play elite on-ball defense. But in a shock twist, the stats actually tell a much different story. In year 21, LeBron James was actually the best defender in the NBA, holding his opponents to 40.7% shooting, the lowest mark in the NBA last season, showcasing that he still has the defensive tools required to play the league's best defense, proving that you can't believe everything the media throws at you, as sometimes you need to take a deep dive yourself and really unpack just what these talk shows are saying. The 6th fact is about the longevity of LeBron James, and it's shocking. Going into an unprecedented 22nd season, LeBron has been in the NBA for my entire life. The players that LeBron has played against range from guys like Horace Grant, Gary Payton, and Karl Malone, but also include guys like Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, and Victor Wembanyama. James has also played against 9 NBA head coaches when they were back in their playing days, and he even ended up playing under one, which was Darvin Ham. But the most shocking stat of all for his longevity is the fact that LeBron James has played against 35% of all players in NBA history. The National Basketball Association has been around since the mid-1940s, and LeBron James has played against over a third of the competition that's ever suited up in the league. If that doesn't shock you, these next facts definitely will. The 7th fact is another about the longevity of LeBron James, and it's incredible. Coming into the NBA as a teenager, straight out of high school, LeBron James was ready for the big time, having an incredible rookie season which earned him the 9th spot in the MVP standings, averaging 25 and 6 on 41% shooting. However, after a huge leap in year 2, where James averaged 7 more points per game than the previous season, he would average 31.4 points per game in his 3rd year, making him the 2nd youngest player to ever average over 30 a game. However, that's only the beginning of this incredible stat. as in the 2022 season, James added another historic record, becoming the oldest player of NBA history to average over 30 points per game, as James put up 30.3 in the 2022 season. Not only is LeBron James the oldest player to average over 30, but he was also the oldest to do so by a whopping 5 years. This is truly a testament to his longevity that is hard to even wrap your head around. The 8th fact about LeBron James speaks to his maintained excellence in the league. Over his 21 seasons in the NBA and all those trips to the NBA Finals, LeBron James has certainly been around the block, as he's led his teams to the postseason a total of 17 times, making the NBA Finals a total of 10 times. Such a feat sees him near the top of every playoff stats that are imaginable, as he ranks first in playoff points, fourth in playoff rebounds, second in playoff assists, first in playoff steals, and 10th in blocks. Even in three-point shots, LeBron is third, as his longevity and sustained success is virtually unmatched. But what makes this even crazier is the fact that LeBron James has played in more playoff games than 14 franchises ever have, as he's suited up for 266 games in the postseason. Think about that for a second. LeBron James, a single player, has played more minutes in the postseason than 14 entire teams ever have. This single stat alone illustrates just how long James has been this great for. The 9th fact about LeBron James is shocking, and it's about the level of production he's been able to maintain. Some NBA players never even crack 20 points per game for just one season, let alone every season of their career like LeBron has. James has reached as high as 31 points per game in the 2006 season, and has never dropped below 20 points per game in a single season. But what's even more shocking is how LeBron is on an unprecedented streak when it comes to his stats. Since his second year as a pro, LeBron has an average less than 25 points per game in a single season. That's a streak that has lasted 19 seasons. And coming into next season, he looks to make it 20 straight years of at least 25 a game. It's wild to consider how LeBron James has been a pass-first guy throughout his career also, and has still managed 25 a night. If I had told you this stat was about Kevin Durant, you wouldn't be shocked, as KD is a pure scorer. But if you consider the playmaking that LeBron James also gives you, as he's averaged 7 assists per game over the course of his career, that makes his mark of at least 25 a game for the last 19 seasons even more impressive. The 10th fact about LeBron James is about his insane scoring consistency. Did you know that LeBron James has only ever recorded 10 less points in a single game just 8 times throughout his 1,492 games in the NBA? Making this even more wild is how long it's been since LeBron failed to reach 10 points in a single game. The last time James scored less than 10 points in a single game was 1,208 matches ago, which was on the 5th of January back in 2007. In the game, he scored just 8 points on 3 of 13 shooting against the Milwaukee Bucks. But perhaps even more stunning is how over the course of his 21 seasons in the NBA, LeBron James has put up more 50-point games than less than 10 games. During his career, James has scored 50 or more 14 times versus 8 games with 10 points or less. LeBron James is truly one of, if not the greatest players in NBA history. But where does he rank amongst the best players in the league today? In this video, I uncovered the top 10 best players coming into the 2025 NBA season, and where LeBron James ranks is shocking for someone heading into that 22nd season as a pro. I look forward to seeing you there.